The man carefully peeled off the giant's helmet, and then Jack slowly placed the honeycomb inside. The captain cooperated by quietly closing the helmet and putting it away, and then the two of them jogged back behind the rock. The show was about to begin when the giant suddenly awoke. Jack's plan was about to succeed when the giant took off his helmet. The three men were disappointed, but his ugly face was just in time for a little bee to see it. The bee stared at the giant's nose, and the giant fell off the cliff. The three of them laughed and laughed at the success of their plan. The excited princess and Jack embraced the captain, who was laughing, and his smile disappeared. Then the three were ready to leave when the captain stopped. He left the task of bringing the princess home to Jack, and he went to find the mutinous brother Curly Hair. No matter what, to get the crown back. Jack handed the captain a dagger, and the captain gave Jack his insignia, and he was one of them from now on. Then Jack took the princess and left, leaving the captain to break the back. Meanwhile, after 2.5 years of falling from the sky, the giant finally reached the ground. Hearing the noise, the old king came out of his tent to check on the situation. At that moment, the people gathered around and saw the giant lying on the ground. The old king looked up at the vines in front of him and saw that the old legend was true. The king ordered his men to cut down the vines so that the legend would not be repeated. But the soldiers did nothing, because if they did, the princess would never come back. The king had to do it himself, unbeknownst to them. Jack was slowly climbing down with the princess. As they watched the lights below, the princess thought they were welcoming her home. But it was the other way around. Under the king's orders, the soldiers worked day and night to cut down the vines, until in the middle of the day, Curly gathered all the giants of Giants Island and came to the vines, ready to attack the human world. Just then, the two-headed giant caught the scent of his captain, who hid behind a rock and waited for an opportunity to act. Curly went to the edge of the cliff and looked down at the world below as he turned to leave. The captain tackled him from behind, and they both slipped and fell down the cave. The two-headed giant's plan worked, and he ordered the giants to break the rocks to save Curly. As Curly's life hung in the balance, he cried out for help, but the giants were too loud to hear his pleas for help. After struggling for a while, Curly died, and the crown on his head lost its magic. The captain just climbed up and tried to retrieve the crown, but the two-headed giant grabbed Curly's body before him. He took the crown off Curly's head and put it on his finger. Now he was the king of the giants, and the world was about to be burned and plundered by the giants. The history of hundreds of years ago is about to repeat itself,